This is an Andy's Randomness special report. Reporting now, Andy Pollock.
Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Pollock here from the Random Studio in Fresh Meadows, New York. I want to apologize that we are on tape delay today because I had to finish up doing the top 40 for Cocoscope this week. So let me just focus myself. There we go. So now it'll give me a chance to just talk to you all before I play the tape from Albany, New York. So I have a tape that I will be playing from YouTube in just a second. So, a couple things that I need to get out there before we start the tape, of course. Number one, I want to mention that the federal unemployment rate came out today, and it went up to 4.4%, but under these circumstances, we're going to probably see a spike when the next report comes out on, I have the date on my calendar, on Friday, May 1st, or on Friday, May 8th. So, with these circumstances right now, you're probably going to hear more in the news the next couple of weeks. More people are filing. I saw a lady calling the New York State line on the news the other day. She'd had trouble getting through, of course. You know, a lot of people are, out of work, of course. Again, thankfully for me, I'm going to be fine. It's just that, I just wish Northwell would tell us not to come into the building on 27th later this month, but, see what I mean? I checked my emails again, nothing from Northwell. But, sure, if you haven't heard that, that's going to be in the news the next couple of days. Also, I want to mention to people who are hoarding, this is an important message, please stop doing it. Because right now, I'll mention, my dad was looking for matzah a couple days ago. Empty. Everything is gone. Who was hoarding this? That's what I want to know. And then I also heard from, I think it was a friend of mine who lived out in Long Island. Someone told me that they went to, I think, CVS, and they couldn't find the Reese's Easter eggs. So people are hoarding because Easter's coming up a week from Sunday. You have Passover starting on Wednesday night. And there's some rude and inconsiderate people who are not only hoarding seasonal goods like matzah and Easter eggs in general. I'm pretty sure you're going to see a lot of those eggs getting sold out because some of the parents may do their own Easter egg hunt in the backyard. But please just stop hoarding. All we're asking. And I'll even mention again, I saw a Pine Power LI's video at Target in the Broadway Mall in Hicksville. People are hoarding. So please, our message right now is to just stop hoarding. Alright? Stop it. If you're a retailer, you should limit people. You get the next stock next week. If it's matzah, if it's the Reese's peanut butter eggs, if it's Lysol wipes, if it's gloves, masks, paper towels, toilet paper. You gotta let the customers know we're limiting you to this. And I'll give ShopRite in New Hyde Park credit. They are doing the right thing. I'm gonna give big props to Greenfields. Okay, they're doing the right thing out in New Hyde Park when it comes to limiting, I think my dad was telling me 2 per frozen, something like that. So, I'm hoping Cuomo is going to address that. Because again, I'm first watching this tape, but there needs to be a message that in New York State, you gotta stop hoarding. Alright, I understand that we're the hot spot right now, but this is not the time to be hoarding items right now. That's the bottom line. But I don't think today we're going to get an announcement regarding the stay-at-home. I haven't gotten anything from the news apps, but I think that decision will probably come next week for the stay-at-home. I think they're probably going to extend it until at least April 30th, worst-case scenario. And I know my ex, Laura, she's been depressed because she really wants to be on the job at her work site right now out in Nassau. She's still working from home as we speak, and people like her who are still going to thankfully have jobs and don't have to file for unemployment, and other people who are still working from home and still have that luxury, they really want to be back on the work sites. Like, me, for an example, again, I work in a hospital, but at the same time, do I really want to be in a library in a cubicle labeling envelopes right now? Honestly, no. I don't want to be doing that. Just like how, do I want to have contact with my residents in the nursing home who I've known for 4.5 years and get them sick right now, or they could get me sick? Honestly, no. I don't want to do that. Or, have contact with MTA board members in the same room in Lower Manhattan. Do I want to have that contact, or even be up front with Andrew Albert and Lisa Daglian right now in person? No. Bottom line is, again, the governor said this yesterday. If we can do things correct, we have a chance by May 15th to flatten this curve. So let's keep staying home the remainder of this month, if possible. Which, again, if you have to go to the drugstore, you have to go to the supermarket, that's a whole different story. Or, I don't know, maybe going around the block or something to take a quick walk. Or, I don't even know, going on your front porch like I've been doing. I don't even want to go out there today. It is so cold. It's been cold like since yesterday. Like Tuesday was the best day to be outside. But in reality, right now, we are going to flatten this curve by May and June. We are going to flatten it. And I'll mention, big kudos to Paramount Pictures. I found out today that Top Gun, the sequel with Tom Cruise, that's actually getting released on Christmas. So I'm actually kind of glad about that, because now that gives me and my friends something to do during the holiday break later this year. And then SpongeBob movie got pushed to, I think, July. So I think the movie theaters will be fine by July. But the only issue is they're losing a lot of money. And I will mention that the Broadway theaters were supposed to reopen on April 12th. And I know that my ex's boyfriend, he has a ticket to go to a Broadway performance, I think, on April 13th. Honestly, I think they're going to... I don't even know if the governor's going to bring that up today, because I think he should bring it up today, or he should bring it up next week. But we will play the tape in just a second. The entertainment industry is going to be another hard impact when it comes to that. And I will mention this on my WrestleMania prediction video that I'm going to post tomorrow. I just have to base everything on tonight's SmackDown episode. They're airing on Fox. But if everything goes according to plan from what I've been hearing, and especially what happened in Florida yesterday with Ron DeSantis, Florida has issued a stay-at-home order. So WWE right now, at this moment, has shut down the Performance Center down in Orlando. They've also shut down their Full Sail University set for NXT. So I think WWE, they have to pull the plug. There's no way that they're going to be able to produce any programming this month. There's not even going to be a Raw after Mania, I think. So I don't know what USA Network is going to do Monday and Wednesday, and I don't know what Fox is going to do on Friday now. Do they just re-air classic shows? Maybe, but, they should have just canceled Mania, but I guess Vince McMahon being ignorant, that's a whole different story. But I'll bring that more up on the prediction video tomorrow. So we are going to go to the tape right now. So we will join New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Once again, this is on tape delay. I do apologize because, again, I had to finish up taping the top 40 for this week. And if you hear the... that means the video is getting exported right now. Okay, I want to read... No, Cuomo corruption. I didn't read yesterday. No, I didn't. I'll have to take a look after. Oh, Yuki, that's terrible. I'm so sorry to see that. Yeah, Yuki Endo posted in our live chat. All organic breads are out. Yes. So they have a blockade at CVS, Rite Aid, and Duane Reade. Oh, that's sad, Yuki. Yuki, I will mention this before I go to the tape of Cuomo. Um, I have a fellow classmate of mine who was in my Gersh Academy class of 2013, and I'm not gonna say her name for privacy reasons, but I am very close with the family, still to this day. I will mention that. Wonderful parents. Um, Thank you, Cuomo Corruption. I thank you. That's Advanced Player 2299 who just sent me that. But Yuki, I will mention that this classmate of mine, her mother works in Jamaica Hospital right now, and obviously, if you've seen the national news. Oh, okay. New York Post posted an article titling "Coronavirus Epicenter Could Shift Back to East Asia." Oh, they make employees get you the supply to front desk. Okay, Yuki, thank you. Yeah, Yuki, honestly, I don't know when Broadway theaters will reopen. Um, I'm just going to say to Matt, which I'm close with Laura's ex because we're friends, obviously. My message to him would be, bottom line, I don't think they're going to reopen at least until the summer. That's just my opinion. I think the earliest you could see the Broadway theaters reopening would probably be sometime in June. It's just a lucky guess. I think either June or July at this point. I'd say definitely by July. I'd say 100% by July. That's a guarantee. If it's not July, then something is just wrong. Okay, I just want to put my phone on LTE because, I just got new numbers. I don't want to get into that. Yeah, New Jersey's giving an update right now. I don't want to go into New Jersey because, again, that's a whole nother nutshell right there. But the best part about using OBS, and I will mention that, is that I can see myself talking to you guys right now while I'm here. So, look at me. I'm just playing with my phone, putting the LTE on. Okay, folks, so I'm gonna shrink me. I'll turn my mic off right now, so we will go live. Well, not live, but here is the replay of New York Governor Andrew Mark Cuomo on New York State's daily coronavirus briefing from Albany, New York.
Good morning. Good to see most of you. No, good to see all of you. New state seal. That's right. This seal of the state of New York, the legislature passed a modification to the seal. You see in the middle of the seal 2 words, Excelsior, state motto, ever upwards, aspirational, we can be better, we can lift ourselves, Excelsior. And we added E pluribus unum, which is actually more appropriate today than when we started this process. E pluribus unum, out of many one, out of many one. It was our founding fathers' fundamental belief for this nation. Adams spoke to it, Madison spoke to it, Jefferson spoke to it. Although they had a lot of different opinions while they were doing the Constitution, the one thing they agreed with was E pluribus unum, out of many one. And it was good advice then, it's even better advice today. The curve continues to go up. The number of tests has reached a new high. We did over 21,000 tests. Thank you to our great health department. We have over 10,000 new cases, 102,000 total tested positive, 14,000 hospitalized, 3,700 ICU patients, 8,800 patients discharged. That's good news. Number of deaths, highest single increase in the number of deaths since we started, 2,300 to 2,900 deaths. You see the totality for New York State, 102,000. New Jersey, California. Remember when this started, New York had airports that were designated entry zones. This is an international destination, international hub. We had people coming from across the world sooner and at a higher rate than anyone else. Total hospitalization, 1,400. That's also a new high. Daily ICU admissions is down a little bit, but you had more deaths, you have more people coming into hospitals than any other night. Also more people going out, which is obviously the ebb and the flow that's coming in and out of the hospital system. The hot spots, we now track on a nightly basis how many people go into what facility, so we can track the increase in what's happening. You see an increase in New York City, as we knew. Certain communities, frankly, more in New York City than other communities. But you also see an increase on Long Island, which is something we're concerned about. Long Island does not have as elaborate a healthcare system as New York City. We don't have the same amount of resources on Long Island, and we see an increase in the number of cases on Long Island, and that has us very concerned. Supplies, PPE, are in short supply, as they are across the country. We need companies to make the materials. It is unbelievable to me that in New York State, in the United States of America, we can't make these materials, and that we are all shopping China to try to get these materials, and we're all competing against each other. These are not complex materials. And we will work with New York manufacturers. We'll finance the transition necessary to make these materials. I mean, we talk about them as if they're very complicated. This is an N95 mask. This is it. It was 70 cents before this started. It's now as high as $7. But this is all that an N95 mask is. It's fabric, it's material. The FDA has the specifications, and then it's 2 pieces of elastic cord. It can't be that we can't make these. This is a gown. We call them gowns. This is a gown. It's, there's nothing sophisticated about the manufacturing of this garment. Not to degrade the garment. There's nothing sophisticated about the material. It can't be that companies in this country and in this state can't transition to make those supplies quickly. Again, I understand if there's a financial burden, we will address that and we will work with you. So please contact us. Javits is going to be converted to a COVID facility. The original plan was to use Javits. Javits is a state convention center. It was retrofitted by the Army Corps of Engineers to hold 2,500 people. The original plan was that it would not take COVID patients, COVID positive patients. It would take non-COVID patients, and it would be an overflow for hospitals. As it turned out, we don't have non-COVID people to any great extent in the hospitals. Hospitals have now turned into effectively ICU hospitals for COVID patients. So we wanted to convert Javits from non-COVID to COVID. It's federally run. Frankly, the federal agencies were not eager to do that. FEMA was not eager to do that. I called the president. I spoke to him about it yesterday morning. Yesterday afternoon, the president called me back, said he spoke to the task force. They would grant the request to transition the Javits Center to COVID only. That adds 2,500 beds. So that is a very big deal. And I thank the president for doing it. He did it despite the fact that the federal agencies were not eager to do it, and he did it quickly. So I thank him for that. It's a big deal for us. We're still challenging, we still have the challenge of ventilators. We don't have enough, period. The situation is very simple now. People come in, they're almost all COVID people. Ironically, the number of non-COVID cases has dropped because so many things are shut down that you don't have the same number of automobile accidents or people getting hit by cars. You don't have the same crime rate. So you don't have the same number of trauma cases coming into a hospital. They are COVID cases, and many of them go right to the ICU. In the ICU, you need a ventilator. And if you don't have a ventilator, the process stops, and we don't have enough ventilators. We're doing everything possible, splitting of ventilators, using BiPAP machines by this new protocol, using the anesthesia ventilators. We're talking to the federal government to be as helpful as they can from the federal stockpile. But in truth, I don't believe the federal stockpile has enough to help all the states, because you can't buy the material at this point. We're still trying to buy from China. We're working with Alibaba, which has been very, very helpful to us. I spoke to Jack Ma and Mike Evans, who is the president, and they have been personally gracious and very, very helpful in trying to get us to source material from China. But we're going to have to redeploy ventilators from across the system. In other words, there are hospitals that have ventilators. There are hospitals that have PPE equipment. There are private sector companies that have PPE equipment that they are not using, that we're going to need to redeploy to the places in the hospitals where we need them. I had a conversation with a hospital administrator yesterday. I understand they don't want to give up their ventilators. Ventilators are expensive pieces of equipment. I understand that even if they're not using them, they are reluctant to see them go out the door. The theory is if the government gets them, they'll never get them back. I understand that, but I don't have an option, and I'm not going to get into a situation where we know we are running out of ventilators, and we could have people dying because there are no ventilators, but there are hospitals in other parts of the state that have ventilators that they're not using. I'm just not going to allow us to go there. I think it would be wholly irresponsible. So I'm going to sign an executive order that says the state can take ventilators and PPE from institutions that don't need them now and redeploy them to other parts of the state and other hospitals that do need them. Those institutions will either get their ventilator back or they will be reimbursed and paid for their ventilator so they can buy a new ventilator. I can't do anything more than that, but I'm not going to be in a position where people are dying and we have several hundred ventilators in our own state somewhere else. I apologize for the hardship to those institutions. Ultimately, there is no hardship. If you don't get the ventilator back, I give you my personal word, I will pay you for the ventilator. But I'm not going to let people die because we didn't redistribute ventilators. The National Guard are going to be deployed to pick up these ventilators, which are all across the state, and deploy them to places where we need them. State budget passed last night, 3 a.m., as you know. The state budget was extraordinary. First, it passed a lot of major policy initiatives that we should all be very proud of. The nation's first domestic terrorism law. It improved bail reform. It addressed this child vaping scourge that is going across this nation. We banned fentanyl, a ban against repeat subway sex offenders, campaign finance reform, paid sick leave, middle-class tax cut, a very aggressive airport construction program, and accessible renewable energy siting. I understand we're all consumed with the coronavirus situation, but you have to be able to walk and chew gum. We have to move forward at the same time, and that's why passing the budget and these pieces of legislation were important, because these issues are still important. And child vaping, et cetera, surrogacy, these are major issues for people, and they passed last night, and congratulations. The budget was difficult because the state has no money. And how do you do a budget when you can't really forecast revenues? And we came up with a somewhat novel budget that actually is calibrated to future revenues or losses. So we really start with an assumption, and then what we're saying is when we see how much revenue the state makes, how fast the economy comes back, what the expenses are, we'll calibrate accordingly. We are heavily reliant on the federal aid legislation that gets passed. The federal government has passed a couple of pieces of legislation. They're planning to pass another piece of legislation. It's very important that whatever legislation they pass helps state and local governments. When you deprive a state government, all you are actually achieving is that that state government has to turn around and not fund the programs that were dependent on that state government. We fund education, we fund health care. I spoke to Speaker Pelosi today. She's working on the program for the next piece of legislation. She understands fully the need of state governments. She understands fully the need of local governments. She understands my position on how New York was shortchanged in the past bill. And she said she's going to do everything she can do to help New York. I've worked with the speaker many times. I've known her for 30 years, and I believe her, and her credibility and her competence is unparalleled in my opinion. So I'll be working with the speaker and the rest of the congressional delegation going forward, but we need federal assistance. Depending on how much federal assistance we get will be that calibration of the budget going forward. Coronavirus response in general. There's a lot of conversations about how we should respond to this governmentally or from an intergovernmental perspective. People want to say, well, this is a states' rights question versus federal interference. Who should decide what's done on a state level? There is no governor who is arguing that their states' rights are being trampled, right? So it's not a states' rights issue. No one is standing up saying the federal government is trampling my rights. I've said that on other occasions, but no governor, Democrat or Republican, is saying that here. Every state is saying the same thing. I need help, I need assistance. So I don't consider this a situation where the federal government is interfering with a state's rights. This is a situation that is by definition, a national disaster emergency situation where the states need and welcome the federal assistance. I was in the federal government, as you know. I worked on scores of federal emergencies. The only operational model that I see that could potentially work here at this stage where we are today with the realities we're facing, where no state can get the supplies they need. No state can get the PPE they need. No state can get the ventilators they need. The market has literally collapsed. The only operational model that I see is you have curves. We've been talking about our curve. You have curves in different parts of the country. And those curves occur at different times. It depends on when the outbreak started in that region, how quickly it spread. So you have different curves in different parts of the country occurring at different times. I think the only practical solution at this point is focus on the emergency that is in front of you. Focus on the emergency at the place and time that is in front of you. And then redeploy to the next situation. So New York is the tip of the spear, so to speak. We have the high numbers. We have the first major encounter. Deploy resources to New York. We'll hit that curve. We'll be at the top of the curve. 17 days, 21 days, we're on the other side of the curve, and we're coming down. And then I don't need the ventilators that we've amassed and split and the BiPAP machines. We can redeploy what we have, personnel, equipment, to whatever locality is next. Now, it's not a perfect sequential timing, but if you look at the projected curves, when it's going to hit Michigan, when it's going to hit Illinois, when it's going to hit Florida, you'll see that there is a timing sequence to it. Why not? Or what is the alternative to now saying, let's help each other. Let's focus on each situation as it develops, and let's move our resources and personnel as it develops. What is the alternative to the crisis that we see looming nationwide? You do not have enough. The federal government does not have enough material to sit there and say, whatever you need, I can get you. Don't worry, California. Don't worry, Michigan. Don't worry, New York. Don't worry, Florida. They can't. They can't. They have essentially said, I don't have enough in my stockpile to handle all of this. And then you get into a blame game. Should it have been in the federal stockpile? Should states have had stockpile? Forget that. The reality is, how do you handle this operationally unless you go from place to place with the proviso that you say, and then each state has to help every other state as we go along? There is a simple analogy to this that we live all the time. When we have minor emergencies or disasters, when we have a minor hurricane that's regional in nature, or a minor flood, power goes out, what do? All the power and utility companies from all across the country descend on that region that needs help, right? After a hurricane, power lines are down. You look at the highways, you see all those trucks coming in from different states, right? Arizona trucks, Colorado trucks. When Florida has a hurricane, what do? We get in the trucks, everybody drives down to Florida. Personnel, etc. When Puerto Rico got into trouble, what did we do? Con Edison, New York, Rochester Gas, they all went down to Puerto Rico. Why? Because help the place that has the crisis. This is that on a macro scale. New York is in crisis. Help New York. And then pick up, decamp, and then go to the next place as this rolls across the country. There's not a perfect timing. There will be 2 parts of the country that hit an apex at the same time. There will be 3 parts of the country that hit an apex at the same time. But I do not see any operational, practical alternative to dealing with this going forward. And by the way, this is all operational. There is no concept, there's no abstraction philosophy to this. This is a person walks into a project later because there's either no bed or no staff or no PPE or no ventilator. It's in the American DNA to say we're here to help one another. It is e pluribus unum. I didn't have to put that on the seal. That's just a reminder. Out of many, one. We're community. We're Americans. We're a family. We're brothers and sisters. There's a commonality. Well, I'm a New Yorker, you're from California. I know, those are lines on a piece of paper. We are the same. We're the same. And we know that here in New York. I asked for people to come help New York, health officials, health professionals. 20,000 people volunteered in a matter of days to come help New York in the middle of a pandemic. 20,000 people. Think about that. 20,000 health professionals said, I'll leave my home and come to your state. Systematize that voluntarism. Systematize that generosity, that charity, and that expertise. And that's how we beat this damn virus as it marches across the country. We just deploy in front of the virus as it works its way across the country. In any event, when our curve is over, that's what we're going to do. New Yorkers are going to take what we've amassed, we're going to take our equipment, we're going to take our personnel, we're going to take our knowledge, and we will go to any community that needs help. We're learning things that, fortunately, no other community had to learn because we're first and because of the intensity of the situation here. When our urgent need is over, we will help any community in this nation that needs it, because that outpouring has been there for us. You know, I remember post 9/11. And I remember post 9/11, without asking anyone for anything, the people who showed up in New York just to help. Tradesmen bringing tools, people bringing food, people bringing trays of cookies, whatever. They just showed up. Nobody asked. They just showed up and said, I'm here to help, or stood on a corner helping people. That's America at its best. And at this time, when we're dealing with our worst, let's deploy America at its best. And we know what that is. And that can help us. Questions, comments?
There we go. Now my mic's on. Alright, so once again, that was New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Once again, I am not going to be playing the Q&A part of the conference. Instead, we're going to go onto my Twitter feed and take a look at some of the highlights, of course. So we'll go on to my Twitter in just a second. The live comment today has been very active. I'm very thankful for you guys. I've noticed that today. Okay, Yuki said, the organic store in Jackson Heights is closed until April 5th. Wow. That's interesting, Yuki. All right, thank you for making that comment, of course. Are we still live right now, or no? I'm just double checking. There we go. All right, good. I was getting worried for a second. But yeah, we're going to go on to my Twitter in just a second. So, okay. Yeah, and thanks to Cuomo Corruption. I mean, he's been on fire on Twitter today. He's been on fire. Okay, couple of the highlights we're gonna get to right now that I have tweeted out. So we'll shrink me down in just a second, so you all can see the tweets. Oops, hang on for a second. Is that the right one? Okay, we're having a problem right now. Hang on for a second, folks. This is not right. This is not right. Hang on for a second. We're having technical difficulties. I do apologize. Something is not correct here. Let's maybe... Yeah, here we go. Okay, good. Alright, so, make sure I can see me and talk to you guys. Shrink me down. There we go. Okay. So, last night, the New York State budget was passed last night, so we'll get into it. National First Domestic Terrorism Law, improved bail reform. Now, the problem is, again, I don't know what the improved bail reform is going to be because, again, that was a whole controversial issue that, under these circumstances, is not appropriate today. Child vaping law, ban fentanyl, subway sex offender ban. Now, that's going to have to be brought up to the MTA. And, of course, when I speak to Andrew Albert later this month, because that's going to have to be an urgent thing. Campaign finance reform, paid sick leave, middle class tax cut. Now, I don't know how this is going to work because Nassau County has high taxes, so I don't want to get into that today. Airport construction program and accessible renewable energy sitting. The only issue is, where's the sports betting? Where's the legalization of marijuana? Because that's not here. So I'll just quickly want to mention that. Okay, let's get into the next one here. To apologize. Hang on, folks. I think I'd have to find the tweets and replies section to find the tweets that I sent out earlier. Okay. Alright, so, I want to get into it. Here we go. Alright, folks, so let's get into the most hospitalizations we have right now in the downstate New York region. New York Presbyterian, Weill Cornell, Bronx Care Hospital Center, NYU Winthrop in Flushing, it looks like, North Shore University Hospital, St. Francis Hospital up in Roslyn, Long Island Jewish Medical in New Hyde Park, Good Samaritan Hospital, Medical Center, and University Hospital. So, again, my message to Northwell Health right now, especially my supervisors, please, this is not the time for us non-essential people to come into our facilities right now. So I urge you, you're in Syosset, you're in Manhasset, you're in New Hyde Park like me, reach out, tell them, please extend the stay-at-home order until the patient rate at our facilities for Northwell dies down. Because honestly, right now, I wonder how the union feels about this. I mean, are they still thinking that we're realistically going to go back to work on April 27th? Honestly, again, they said the next 2 weeks are going to be the peak. I really hope I get an email from someone eventually, because I tried texting my supervisor. I tried telling her it's not a good idea for us to be in the facility right now. Just isn't. Okay, now I'm going to get to that phone number the governor gave out yesterday. So, yesterday the governor said we desperately need medical supplies right now. And bottom line is, listen, I think a medical mask is fine if you're a civilian right now. I think the N95 masks need to go out to the essential people, like the police officers, the firefighters, the EMTs, the CNAs who work at nursing homes, Who else needs them? Probably. I'm trying to think logically. Let me move myself down so that way you all can see me better. I'm trying to think who else would need an N95. Yeah, nurses in the hospitals, of course. So they're the essential people that need to stay in. So yeah, trust me, I'm not even in the mood to get into $11.99 today. Not even in the mood, because this virus is just more important than that today. Okay, let's get into this. Javits Center, 34th Street by 11th and 12th Avenue by Hudson Yards. COVID-only facility. Effective immediately. President Donald Trump approved of that. I just want to see, did we get a response on this tweet? Let's just check to see if we got a response. Well, someone's being a little desperate for Cuomo 2020. As I said, I'm not even thinking about that right now. You know, politics can wait. And anything else that I need to get out? Yeah, okay, this one's important. Okay, Governor Cuomo also said today that non-essential facilities need to give up their ventilators immediately. The bottom line is, again, here in New York State, we could have no respirators by the earliest would be Tuesday. By April 7th, we are looking at a situation where we're not going to have ventilators available in any hospital right now. But the governor, once again, did not bring up that Jamaica and Elmhurst are also seeing a large amount of COVID-19 patients at this moment. So this is my plea to everybody in the United States right now, and I will give the phone number. Oh, quickly want to mention, Democratic Convention is postponed. The Democratic Convention postponed to April 17th. Will be a week before the Republicans' convention, so that's the right decision. I think should be held in August as a precaution. Bottom line is, I'm still hoping the presidential election will still be held this year. Okay, I also want to mention, yesterday John Liu, my state senator for District 11, tweeted out that Fort Taunton Park will be closed until further notice out in Bay Terrace because of, where is it, right? Here we go. Ambulance staging site, so there you go. That's important to have that right now. What else? Don't want to get into politics again, not appropriate under these circumstances, of course. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Oh, yeah, quick reminder, alternate side parking is suspended until April 14th, but I'm assuming the mayor will extend it most likely, so I'll keep you all posted on that. Yeah, here we go. This is the phone number, so I will keep giving it out daily if I can. Try to see if I can save this picture or something, and then I'll maybe put it up on the OBS, tomorrow or on Sunday. Okay, so once again, if you have ventilators, if you have N95 mask, it could also hand sanitizer, paper towels, toilet paper, baby wipes. You have a big stockpile. Here's how you can contact New York State right now. You can call 212-803-3100 or email COVID-19 supplies at esd.ny.gov. So that's the most important takeaway from yesterday's. Again, I don't want to recap yesterday's. So I will check any live comments. Okay. Is there a replay of Laura Curran? If we can do that, I think we'll play her today out in Nassau County, and then we will wrap this up, because again, the local media is not going to really cover it as well when it comes to Laura Curran, it seems. Interesting. Okay. Boy, look at this. Nassau reports 43 new related deaths. As I said, I don't see a video at the moment, so that wouldn't help me. Is there a way we can get an archive of Nassau County by any chance? Laura Curran video. Let's see if we can find something. Guys, it should be ridiculous that, you know, we don't have... Here we go. Let's see if we can go on to here. Because, again, I think it's most important that, again, I have a lot of viewers who are in Nassau County. So, right now, under these circumstances, you know, I just don't see anything unless... There's something on YouTube.
We want to make it clear that no action...
That's not it.
A new vision for NASA...
Not it. Not it. Okay, folks. We'll see if there's something else on YouTube, just for curiosity. Yes. Okay. We have an update. Okay, looks like we do have an update from Laura Curran, so here it is.
Police Patrick Ryder. So today we can confirm we have a total in Nassau County of 12,024 positive cases. That is a 1,437 jump from yesterday. That's our biggest increase so far.
Okay, so once again, that was Nassau County Executive Laura Curran. The main takeaway I want to say for this press conference, and I'll show you a video after it discussed to me, and then we'll wrap this up. 'Cause I really do have to make lunch and then do some IT work for my mom's school before the weekend wraps up. But bottom line right now is Nassau County. I want to commend Laura Curran for doing the right thing at Eisenhower Park. If you didn't hear what she said, every day from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., this is at Eisenhower Park in East Meadow. The good news is, if you have any medical supplies, any at all, maybe you want to drive out from Queens and just donate them and then go home after. I don't know. But if you have any medical supplies, Nassau County really needs your help right now. N95 masks, gloves, stuff that will keep you healthy, I guess, in this time of need. So, Eisenhower Park every day in East Meadow on Merrick Avenue from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. I forget what field it is, but let me check to see where that is for a second. Then I'll put it on the screen. Yeah. Nassau County. Let's see if they have anything on their website. Let's see something for a second. Yes, and I also mentioned they have a hotline for Corona. 888-364. This is for the state of New York. 888-364-3065. But again, I don't really need this information. Trying to see if I can find it. Yes, Nassau County has a call center, 516-227-9570. Yeah, so Nassau does have a Facebook page. So they live stream, I guess, every day. If I want to refer to them. So I don't see anything about Eisenhower Park. So I'll just see if I can find something here. Look up the news. Yeah, here we go, in the Herald. Let's see if I can read it from them. Oh, okay, it's only run through today. It's at Lot 3. Okay, so if you have any supplies, you have less than an hour to drive out to East Meadow right now. Cedarhurst is actually having their own private one in the 5 towns. So if you're in Cedarhurst, you can call 516-295-5770 if you are in Cedarhurst. That's interesting. Very interesting. Okay, any other comments that you all want to give me? Speak now. I'll just check Twitter. At Andy's Randomness. Okay, I don't see anything. Okay, so I think with that, we're going to wrap up this stream. So thank you all very much for watching. Again, my job is to keep you informed on what Governor Cuomo is saying. I'll also try to get the Laura Curran updates every day because, again, I know I have a big fan base out in Nassau County, obviously. So, of course, I want to make my fans out in Nassau aware of what the county executive is saying out in Mineola, of course, because that's where her office is. On Franklin Avenue, of course. I know exactly where the building is. So, yep, that's going to do it. Thank you all very much for watching. As always, stay healthy. More importantly, is Andy's Top 40 almost done? Yes, it is. Okay, good. I'm going to wait for it to export before I wrap this up. I'll count it down. Because I don't know what's going on with my thing. 19 seconds. You know, I don't want that to get in the way when I'm playing the outro. But I'll mention one last thing. Prediction video should be up tomorrow. I got Tape Andy Plays, so I'll have to figure out how that will work out. And we'll see where things end up. We'll see where things go. Anything goes. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Top 40 is done. Thank goodness. So, with that, thank you all for watching. Stay healthy. And until the next one, please take care.
This has been an Andy's Randomness special report.